All over Britain, a new breed of detective is at the forefront of the battle against a rising tide of serious crime. Their work often goes unseen. But with extraordinary access, we go behind closed doors with Lancashire's top police investigators as they attempt to solve some of the most mystifying and horrifying offences.
Police emergency.
Please hurry up because he stabbed him. I'm scared.
These specialist detectives use the most modern techniques.
We need to get him arrested as fast as possible because we want to get him forensically examined.
To deal with today's serious crimes, such as date rape.
You're under arrest on suspicion of rape.
And when a young man is stabbed.
It's a tragic thought for us to have, really, about what's happened to Martin in these final minutes.
They hunt for a killer on the run.
So the plan moving forward, Nick, is for us to have a manhunt.
Please!
This is the inside story of how Lancashire's major investigation team brings some of the UK's most dangerous criminals to justice.
You've been arrested on behalf of ourselves on suspicion of murder.
Police emergency. What's your emergency caller?
My friend's just been raped.
Has it just happened?
When did it happen? Half an hour ago.
I'm prioritising.
Yeah.
I'm going to get patrol straight over.
Detective Sergeant Sherilyn Melton visits the home of the victim, the crime scene, for the first time.
Her account is that she met the suspect on a dating website, plentyoffish.com. They've been chatting on an app called WhatsApp. They've arranged to meet for the first time, and she's given her address and her contact number to the suspect. The scene, particularly, is the bedroom upstairs, which is the double bedroom. It's a two-bedroomed house, and it's the master bedroom where the offence has taken place. They've come in, they've had a few drinks in here. He's started to touch her over clothing on the settee, and then she's gone upstairs to go to the toilet, and he's followed her upstairs to go to the toilet, and then he's dragged her into the bedroom where the offence has taken place. One of the reasons why we're seizing this bedding is because we will be making an arrest, and he may deny that he's actually even been in the bedroom. So forensically, we need to link him into this scene. So at this stage, this is why we're seizing as much forensic opportunity as we can to put him in the house and put him in particular in this bedroom. The victim has been to the hospital where she's been forensically examined. She's described that she's been anally and vaginally raped, so it's key that we get her to the hospital and examined, which we have done. And we are currently, as we speak, obtaining her evidence by way of interview. That's so we're able to get a very detailed account of what's happened to her last night.
We were just talking, and then all of a sudden he grabbed me and he just started kissing me, but he was being nice about it at first. He jumped up in front of me and he put his arms under my legs and pulled me forward, so I kind of like slouched back onto the sofa, and he leant on top of me and started kissing me again. I said, you know, you've got the wrong impression of me. I said, I don't want anything to happen. He'd pushed my face into him and he was kissing me again, and he's strong, he was so strong.
The victim's been telling him no, but he's continued to forcibly rape the victim, despite her pleading for him to stop and crying. She's managed to get out of the bedroom and go downstairs. She's obviously frightened, but she's managed to get him to leave the address, to which he has done, and basically made some comments to her same time next week and slammed the door.
The fact that the suspect is still on the loose means he could return and strike again.
It makes you panic, especially when you've got a child here with you and you're on your own. And you feel vulnerable anyway, obviously, after what's just happened. You don't feel strong anymore. You don't feel like you can protect your child anymore.
We know that the victim and the suspect met through social media. So, as we all know, through media, you leave a footprint. So that's what's been able to lead us to who he is.
Sherilyn Melton and her team are now looking to arrest a 26-year-old man called Scott Lazenby.
The victim has been able to give us specific details regarding his description. We have identified the potential suspect, who's over in Salford. So we're going to go and effect that arrest now. Hopefully he's in, and hopefully everything can go to plan and we can arrest him. If not, through local intelligence, I'm aware of his employment. I know where he works. I've got mobile number that I can link to him. So if we can't find him at the address today, then there's a backup plan. Where's the entrance into it? Doesn't make it easy with being in an apartment, does it? It's going to be the 8th floor. Hi, this is a message for Scott. My name's Sherilyn Melton. I'm one of the sergeants over in the police station at Blackburn. I'm actually at your flat, Scott, so I need to speak to you. If you can either open the door or if you can come back to the flat. So I'm going to ring you back again in a couple of minutes, and if you can pick the phone up, please, and then we can have a chat. Thanks very much. Right, I'll try him again now. I've left a message to say that obviously it's not going to go away. Police will continue to come to his address until he's arrested. Pressure's on him now, really. He's probably going to want to come back and get it sorted, so we'll give him a little bit of time, and I'll try him again in a couple of minutes. If he doesn't answer his phone, then we are potentially going to have to get an arrest package put in overnight.
Sherilyn calls her office to check if Lazenby said anything to the victim that will help the police to trace him.
I just need to ask, because we've obviously come to his address and he's not in, is there anything she knows about him, family members, where he might have said he was going today? Football practice at 9. All he said to her was that he'd got football training this morning, but she's saying he's been quite vague around what personal details he's ever given to her. He plays it to cards close to his chest.
Lazenby is still not returning Sherilyn's calls, so the team travel 40 minutes north to Padiham, on the edge of Burnley.
We've now received information that we think he possibly is playing football in a nearby town in Padiham, which also would show connection to what the victim has said. Because it's quite a large area and it's a wooded area, we're going to get a dog patrol to be on standby in case he is there and he runs away, and we'll go and see if he's there. Because he's not going to suddenly just run off the pitch, is he? He's playing a football match.
You'd hope not. We're after a lad called Scott Lazenby. You know he's here tonight?
No, I've never even heard of him.
He's got like quite sticky out ears. So, no.
Ultimately, what we've got to do is we've got to find him, haven't we? At the end of the day, it's a rapist at large, isn't it?
Although he's not at the football ground, Sherilyn does get some positive news. The suspect, Scott Lazenby, has returned her call.
I do need to speak to you urgently at the police station. What's going to happen until I do come face to face with you? This patrol's going to be looking for you all night. And I don't want to get your family in Stoke involved, and I don't want to get your work involved, and I don't want to get your friends involved. So it's your interest. Just
Back tomorrow, I can come and see you tomorrow.
Well, where are you?
What now?
Yeah.
I'm at home.
In where?
With my parents.
In Stoke?
Yeah, I've had a drink, I can't drive anyway.
You can't drive? Right, because what could happen is I could end up sending a patrol around to your parents' addresses, which I don't particularly want to do, and we would have to bring you from your parents' address to me.
Is it that serious that you need to speak to me right now?
Yeah. If you're not in Stoke and you're lying to me, I will check this out. I will know. All right, I'm going to know if you're in Stoke or not. So if you're telling me lies now, it's not a good start. I think he's panicking a little bit. He's saying he doesn't know why the police need to speak to him. He's told me that he's not available tonight because he's had a drink and he's in Stoke. But he has said he'll come in for 9 o'clock in the morning to Greenbank Police Station and come and speak to us. Fingers crossed, if we don't catch him before now, we'll get him at 9 in the morning.
Blackburn, Lancashire. Detective Sergeant Sherilyn Melton and her team are investigating an allegation that a young mother was raped in her own home by a man she met on a dating website.
He'd used his right hand and he'd actually started to put it behind my head. He were pulling on my hair and he kind of locked my neck. My head backwards, my neck were locked. He'd managed to take my clothes off. And in just a second, I just felt this horrible pain just go straight through my body and my head kind of like went up to the wall. He'd pushed me up that far. And I just screamed and screamed, and every time I shouted no, it just got louder and louder and louder.
The suspect, Scott Lazenby, is expected to hand himself in to be questioned.
Hi, it's Sherilyn upstairs in PPU. I'm expecting a Scott Lazenby to arrive at 9 o'clock.
Although he doesn't know why he's been asked to come in, Lazenby has brought a lawyer.
Is that the solicitor for Scott?
Yeah.
He's never at any point been told he's been arrested, has he?
Hiya.
Is it Scott?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. I'm just going to explain, obviously, what's going to happen now. All right, this officer's going to arrest you.
Scott, you're under arrest on suspicion of rape. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later align in court. I'm not going to ask you any questions now, OK? Obviously, you've got your solicitor here. You clearly look a little bit shocked about the allegation. Look, today we're just looking to get your account. Clearly, there's two sides to the story, OK?
Right, okay.
I've never met you before, OK? We're going to walk through and give you the benefit of the doubt. We're going to walk through. I'm not going to put handcuffs on you, all right? OK. You want to just finish your apple?
We can finish walking it through if you want. We'll put it in the bin there.
Sergeant, this gentleman's been arrested in an allegation of rape. The circumstances being on the 7th of November in the evening, this gentleman is said to have attended an address whereby the complainant states this gentleman has anally and vaginally raped her.
I'm ringing just to update you, as I said I would yesterday. Scott's been arrested. OK, so he's currently with the police station with us. So what will happen now is we'll be interviewing him to get his account of what he's going to say, and then we obviously continue with our investigation. So I'll let you know. It's going to be a lot later on today, but I will let you know what's going to happen, whether there's a few options. He may be charged, he may go out on bail. OK, either or, whatever happens, I will make sure that you're aware before we release him.
Detectives will question Scott Lazenby under caution. The interview will play a key part in determining whether or not he will be charged with rape. "25 miles away, in Blackpool, police respond to an urgent call.
Can you attend Central Drive, please? We've got a stab in there at the moment.
A man has collapsed outside a flat near the town centre.
A witness was saying that this male has been thrown out of a flat, so it's possible that the offender's still in there.
Observe stay safe principles in case a weapon is involved.
The victims rushed to hospital in critical condition, suffering with multiple stab wounds. Tragically, he did not survive the night. The next morning, the police launch a major murder investigation, led by Detective Superintendent Andy Murphy.
3 stab wounds to the left thigh/hip, so the front of his body. Okay. And 1 stab wound to the rear left shoulder. The suggestion at the moment is that the wound to the thigh has gone through an artery, and that was subsequently killed.
This is a really horrific murder of a man who we believe is about 30 years of age, who's called Marcin Paweł.
The victim, Marcin Pawlov, was from Poland. Detectives questioned the people who were in the flat with him that night to find out who he was and what happened.
The only one who has spoken basically explains how our deceased has come up from Yorkshire to spend Christmas with these people here in Blackpool because his friends down in Yorkshire have gone away and he's arrived on the train this afternoon.
Okay.
And they all know each other because they all grew up in a Polish village together.
But otherwise, there's no connection to Blackpool from Marcin here, other than these pals that he's got.
No, it's got 2 next of kin, a mother and a sister in Poland.
Okay. And we're in the process of contacting family, and that's where we're up to currently. We've arrested people. What the difficulties will be to identify who's caused the injuries to Marcin and why.
Although police believe they have arrested everyone who was in the flat, the investigation is far from straightforward.
All our witnesses are Polish males, all of which speak very little English. We know that most of them were drinking on the night in question, so the value of their evidence, first of all, is impaired through that intoxication. And in addition to that, the fact that there's a language barrier, it becomes particularly demanding.
Despite these difficulties, the team have discovered there was an argument between Marcin and a mysterious 6th man.
As a result of interviewing the initial individuals who were arrested, we now think that Marcin, our victim, left the flat as a result of a dispute. And this dispute was amongst a number of individuals within the flat, but primarily involved a male who we believe is called Robek. Now, what we do know is that undoubtedly we think there's 6 blokes in that address.
Yes.
And we've only identified 5, haven't we?
Okay.
I suppose the conclusion I'm coming to is we've got a 6th person who's unidentified.
Correct.
Is that Robek?
Yeah.
The people that were in the flat on the night that Marcin Pavlov died, but who no longer live there or are connected to the property, are too afraid of the 6th man to identify him. However, police believe he is called Robek and is very dangerous.
From what we've been told, this is a completely disproportionate use of violence towards this person. This guy is pretty obviously a real violent person. So you can see it's a dead fast-moving investigation. But what I wanted to use at this meeting now is an opportunity to show you the CCTV so that you've all got a clear understanding of what we're talking about. Keith, can I ask you, please, to talk us through the CCTV? Is that possible?
Well, we see our deceased, who obviously stumbles out of the flat. He's up on his feet.
Right.
Right, is someone just come to the address and turned right and then gone up towards town?
Good. So, there's nobody come out that we haven't identified other than the guy who comes out and turns right.
That one person will be Robek.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you think so?
Yeah.
With only the grainy image of Robek's legs to go on, Andy is going to the crime scene to look for evidence and get a better understanding of how Marcin died.
There's been a dispute, and as a result of that, Marcin and his mate have been thrown out of this house or asked to leave. They walk out, then Marcin, we believe, has gone back and squirted a fire extinguisher in the face of one of the occupants. And then there's been a bit of a fight on the stairs, and Marcin's gone down the stairs, probably fallen to the floor, we think. And then at that point, we think that Robek has gone up to him and stabbed him and caused the multiple stab wounds, 2 of which has killed him. From the interviews that we've had are saying that Marcin has been pushed down there. And then Robek, he's actually gone down some way, if that is the case, to go and stab him.
Police have found a knife and removed it for forensic examination.
Matt, so where was the knife found?
It was found just here on the arm of this armchair here. So in terms of significant forensic evidence in here, the knife was obviously the main thing. And then, apart from that, all the beer cans that were on the coffee table, which we've swabbed and fingerprinted.
Uh-huh.
If the forensic team can recover DNA and fingerprints, they may be able to identify the killer.
Okay, process. We know from the CCTV camera that Marcin's literally come straight out of that address, hopped into the middle of the road and collapsed in the middle of the road, and then he's been dragged here prior to going to hospital. It's a tragic thought for us to have, really, about what's happened to Marcin in his final minutes of life.
With no further evidence to go on, Andy and Dean are no closer to finding the elusive and very dangerous Robek.
The fact that he's come over from Poland and he's used to travelling across borders, that there might be a real risk that he avoids us. And he could do one, could our man.
Blackburn, Lancashire. DS Sherilyn Melton is investigating a date rape allegation. Before questioning the suspect, detectives must be sure of the victim's account.
I just kept saying, Scott, just stop it, just stop. I said, just no. And he wouldn't let go of me. He did it for a good few minutes, and then all of a sudden, I don't know where I got it from, I just screamed really loudly. I just screamed, I just shouted. I don't even know what it was I said. I don't know if it would get off me or what. I just screamed really loudly. So he jumped back, and he just kept saying, stop crying, just hug me. I'm sorry, just hug me. I'll make it better to you. But whilst he were doing it, he were laying on top of me, and his head was here and whispering it, but he was touching himself. But he was talking to me and saying, come on, let's try it again. I won't hurt you this time. Come on, don't spoil it. I just said, get out of my house. I said, you just need to go.
Now, Detective Constable Ifti Ali will question the suspect, Scott Lazenby, and look for inconsistencies in his version of events.
If we can get quite a good detailed account from him, if we do that now, then at some stage later on down the line, deviating from that account will show that he's got the propensity to have maybe have lied to us on his first account.
I've driven over there, I've got there around 8 p.m. We stayed downstairs for about an hour. We were kissing, joking, laughing. One thing leads to another, and she says, let's take this upstairs. So she led me upstairs. She got into bed. I got into bed. We started kissing, cuddling, taking clothes off. Yeah, we're having sex, and then we change position, and we go to have anal sex, and I was too fast, and she didn't like it, so she got upset. She said stop, so I stopped. We stop, we talk. At this point, she's quite upset, and I'm saying, just calm down. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be so forceful in that sense. Give me a cuddle. I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, with a lot of serious sexual cases, it tends to be just two people involved, and it's done in a private location. It's done away from anybody else. It's really difficult because there only is the two people there, and ultimately it's only those two people that know, what the truth is.
Lazenby tells the police he lives with a woman he met through the same dating website he met the victim on.
I do live with a friend throughout the week. I met her off Plenty of Fish. She was probably the first person I did meet off there many years ago, and I now live with her and her children.
So what's the living arrangement, guys?
We're friends, and we have had sexual relationships before, but now we are just friends.
The suspect has got his vehicle at the police station, so we're going to do a search on that.
A search of Lazenby's car reveals a receipt that appears to contradict his account of his whereabouts.
So there's been in the Paddy Mary this morning, not in Stoke, as he said last night.
You look like you've got some goodies.
Goodies finished. He definitely wasn't in Stoke last night. Confirm that.
Wasn't in Stoke last night. Lamberton Butler, he buys them at Tesco, Padiham.
Padiham. So if he was coming from Stoke...
Why would he be in Padiham? We're looking at his inconsistencies. If he's telling us where he's been, we need to check that. We need to check alibis. We need to check the address where he's saying he's been living in the local area. We need to check that's correct.
Now the team know that Lazenby lied to them, Detective Constable Ifti Ali wants to challenge him further.
And when the sergeant spoke to you, she asked you where you were. You clearly said, I'm in Stoke. First you said, yeah, I'm at my parents', then you said, no, I'm not at my parents', I'm in Stoke, but I'm not at my parents'. So, you know, there's a couple of lies there straight away.
There is, and it's not the fact that I lied intentionally or anything like that. It's just the fact that I was really scared, you know, and I didn't understand what you were calling me for. I didn't realise it was so serious.
Lied about something that is quite key, so that clearly shows us or gives us the view that you've got the propensity to lie.
Yes.
We speak to him about and we ask him, you know, what's your living arrangements? Yeah, we are just friends and so on. And we question him a little bit more on that, and we ask him about his sexual relationship with and he basically says, well, I don't think that's got anything to do with it. That's got nothing to do with this case. Well, we're asking you because it's important. If you're having sex with and your partner, oh no, she's not my partner, we're just friends. He's going to be asked about your relationship, what it is.
I just don't understand why this is, you know, this is relevant.
You're shaking your head from side to side. This is clearly distressing you. We just like to know the truth.
It's not, I've not lied to you about this, you know.
You are still in a sexual relationship with
I just, honestly, I'm not...
It's a simple question.
I'm not lying about what happened on that night. You know?
Okay, are you still in a sexual relationship with
Yes.
So why did you lie to us?
Well, I just didn't feel it was relevant.
What's your relationship? Well, we have quite an open relationship.
So we lied on the first interview.
Yeah. Panic mode starts to set in a little bit more. Well, no, we are in an open relationship, but she's not going to kind of see it like an open relationship.
The team are suspicious of Lazenby's account, but frustratingly for them, they don't at this stage have enough evidence to charge. He'll be placed on police bail, but forbidden to contact the victim in any way.
Those conditions are there to protect the victim in this case. So far, what I've had from him has been several lies. So he question mark a lot of what he's saying. Is it the truth or not? So that's exactly what we need to find out, who is telling the truth.
Releasing Scott Lazenby is a risk. If he is a rapist, he could attack again. In Blackpool, detectives investigating the death of Marcin Pawlowski want to trace a Polish man called Robek. But they've now learned that their suspect also uses the name Sebastian.
The key line for us is to get hold of Sebastian, who was originally referred to as Robak. And you know what makes me even more concerned is the fact that the suspects that we've currently got in custody are all really worried about telling us about this individual. So that it demonstrates some real fear within that group. 2 witnesses say that he's responsible for the murder of Marcin. This guy's obviously deadly violent. So the plan moving forward, Nick, is for us to have a manhunt with regard to Rob, whatever you call him, Sebastian. Yeah. OK. Nick, if you can get him...
I'll do my best.
Yeah, that would be brilliant. OK, thanks, everyone.
The team visit a woman they believe might be the girlfriend of their suspect.
Who's going around the back?
We need some more details about him, really. No one seems to be giving us any, but she's not giving us enough details.
There's no suggestion that the woman has done anything wrong, but detectives keep her under surveillance and track the calls on her mobile phone. To compound the team's frustration, the only image of the suspect that they have is of his feet leaving the crime scene. But the detectives have been piecing together a CCTV trail to establish his movements after the stabbing.
One of the witnesses on an interview, he basically puts himself in company with the offender post-incident and going to a brothel on Cookson Street. So with getting that brothel identified, it's then allowed us or given us another CCTV opportunity. So this links into the CCTV image here, and what the police inquiry says, this individual here is that male there.
And there's another new lead. An associate of Sebastian has told the police that he is a member of a local gym.
He said that he hasn't seen him for 2 months. He'd occasionally bump into him either at the gym or just out on the street and they'd have a beer with him.
We now know from a witness that he attended a local gym. We've made inquiries at that gym and we've recovered a membership card. So we're quite satisfied now that the individual called Robek has been going by the name of Wojciech Sabic.
The police have also recovered the application form for the gym membership.
Fingerprints from that application form match fingerprints within the scene, particularly on beer cans that we think the male known as Robek was handling. So now there's a clear link between Robek being the same person, or at least a person who uses the details of Wojciech Sabic.
Police now have a third alias for Marcin's killer. It's becoming clear that they're dealing with a criminal who is used to deliberately covering his tracks. In addition to this, undercover officers have had a tip-off about a person who may have assisted the killer in escaping.
We're just going now to an address to effect the arrest of a gentleman who we believe has assisted the offender in leaving the country.
Hello, it's the police. Can you open up?
Oh, police! Stay where you are! Police!
Officers are in luck. They quickly apprehend the man who may have helped their suspect to leave Blackpool. He's brought into police custody.
Do you understand why you're here?
Not really.
The allegation is that someone that we believe has been involved in a murder. Okay, you've driven them to the airport to enable them to get out of the country. The allegation is that you've done that. You've what we call assisted an offender in an ongoing inquiry.
Significantly, we've had an individual now who we think the evening after the offence took our main suspect, Sabiz, to the airport.
Okay, this way please, sir.
So that does now present us with a new hypothesis that our suspect may have travelled out of the country, fled the country, and that does obviously make things a bit more difficult in terms of securing his arrest.
But it now appears that the man arrested didn't help the suspect escape abroad.
He asked me to do him a favour and take him to the airport. He received a text message to say his plane had already gone. He gives me a postcode and said, can I get him to this place? It was just like a street with shops, and we stopped. I don't know what the name of the place was, but that's the last time I saw him.
So Marcin Pavlov's killer could still be here in the UK.
There's no trace of him on the details that we've been given with the spelling and the date of birth. But what is interesting, the airport lads know the area very well, and they said from the CCTV has actually gone past the airport and into Leicestershire area. Right. Now that fits.
Further checks on the mobile phone of the suspect's girlfriend appear to show calls to a number in Leicestershire.
Convinced he has got a flight then. At the risk of putting all her eggs in one basket, it looks like she's suddenly in contact with someone down there, so I'm quite enthusiastic about that, really.
This piece of information could be key to finding Marcin's killer.
It's going to be a manhunt, and there's a whole host of tactic strategies that are now going to be employed to get this individual. The urgency, for me, is around the harm that individual has the potential to cause to other people.
Sherilyn Melton is investigating the rape of a young mother. She had to release the suspect Scott Lazenby on bail. She's concerned that if guilty, he could reoffend. But news from colleagues in Greater Manchester Police could be the breakthrough her team needs.
He committed a very, very similar offence on the 3rd of November. He's committed something very, very similar to another female who's aged about the same, who also has a young child, so it looks like he's preying on sort of these vulnerable females. Again, through Plenty of Fish, he's contacted her, built up a relationship, and then she's invited him around to his address, where then he sexually assaulted her. Even though she's got an 8-month child on her lap, basically puts his hand into her top and touches her breast under her bra. So at that point, she's told him to get out. She's still holding the baby at the time, which is even more worrying. She's told him to get out. She's walked to the front door, opened the door, turned around to tell him to get out again, and he'd actually got his penis out in his hand and he's masturbating on her settee.
He's denied it. He said there was no sexual contact whatsoever. But interestingly, if he was meant to be meeting this female to build a relationship up, he was only there for a matter of minutes before she told him to get out.
This person has committed almost an identical offence. His MO is exactly the same. He's met online, he's gone round to a female's house. Both females in this instance had children. These two women don't know each other, so what are the chances in a 5-day period, two women who don't know each other being exploited in their own home? OK, John, so in relation to suspect, he's due back on police bail on the 8th of February. So from my understanding, we're pretty much file ready now to go to see the Crown prosecution. There's 2 offences here committed within 5 days of each other, of somebody that's already said on interview he's already met at least 30 to 40 women online. So it is concerning. I do want to expedite it. I do want to get this guy back on bail on the 8th of February, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be in a position on the 8th of February where we're going to be charging and getting the right result for the victim in this case.
In Blackpool, detectives have been desperately trying to track the elusive and dangerous killer of Marcin Pavlov, who was brutally stabbed to death. The team understands that their suspect, Sobish, goes by a number of different fake names. They have been tracking calls on his girlfriend's phone and now have a list of addresses they need to check in Leicestershire.
We've identified an address in the town centre and we believe may be connected to this incident in Blackpool.
Hello. Don't have to worry about it. If we come in and have a quick chat.
Yes.
Is anyone else in the house with you?
No, I'm waiting for my daughter.
Right, for your daughter. So we just have to come in and quick chat. So no other adults. Are you the only one, yeah?
We're looking for somebody that we need to speak to.
Can I know who?
Yeah, I'll give you the details.
Yeah, no problem. Come on.
Yes.
The woman at the house owns the mobile phone that Sobish's girlfriend has been contacting.
Do you know anybody in the Blackpool area?
Yes.
Okay. Does she have a boyfriend?
I don't know. Maybe. Yes, she has a boyfriend, Daniel. Daniel, yeah.
Okay. No one else in the house?
Yes.
Right, okay. Have a chat.
The fact that she knows the suspect as Daniel becomes a key clue for the police. The suspect has been using a variety of aliases, but Interpol have finally confirmed his true identity, Daniel Sobish, and he is well known to them.
The information we've had via Interpol from the Polish authorities is confirmation now of the actual identity of our suspect, and we've done that by providing them with the fingerprints from the scene, the fingerprints from the application form on the gym. 6 convictions, theft using violence or weapons, which is obviously what we call robbery. The reason why he's on record in Poland is because he has committed previous offences over there, I believe some violence offences. And according to this, he was quite a prolific burglar. He's got quite a few for burglary.
The team hope they can find their suspect by continuing to monitor the phone belonging to his girlfriend.
This is her incoming data. So these are all the numbers and texts that have rung into her phone.
Once we identified a mobile phone that he was utilising, we do a lot of inquiries around the telephony to try and locate where that phone might be operating from.
15 undercover officers are now assigned to various addresses in Leicestershire to try and close the net on Sobish.
Yeah, 2 more people have just entered that premises. Stocky male with a bald head and an older male.
Steve, just a quick one, a heads up. We might have an address for our suspect in Loughborough that we might be able to connect him to. Girlfriend is now in communication with a mobile phone which subscribes to an address in Loughborough. I don't want to just go and knock on the door and miss him. I'd rather give ourselves an opportunity to see if there's some comings and goings and either, confirm if he's knocking about, then run the starter's orders, really.
Do you speak English?
The Loughborough connection is a dead end. There's no sign of Sobish there. But there's a new lead to a property in Leicester.
Police!
After a 4-week search for Marcin's elusive killer, involving a series of raids on numerous addresses, officers believe they have finally got their man.
Ready to bring him through?
Yeah, whenever you are.
Okay. Okay, so why is this gentleman here?
He's been transferred from Leicester, Sergeant. He's been arrested on behalf of ourselves on suspicion of murder.
Okay. Okay, do you speak English?
Mówi pan po angielsku? No.
Okay. Just can you ask him to confirm your name?
Tak, proszę potwierdzić pełne imię i nazwisko.
Sobisz Daniel.
Sobisz Daniel.
Yeah. Whiskey Alpha 000-593/16.
I've come down to the custody office to conduct interviews with the suspect. We're going to put our challenges to him. Then once we've done that, we'll make a decision whether we go to CPS or whether we need to come back and do further interviews.
Have you booked us outside? Yeah.
Did you murder Marcin Powell on the 23rd of December?
No. No, I didn't.
When questioned, Daniel Sobish admits he was at the flat but denies involvement with the stabbing.
3 witnesses are all saying there was a heated argument between you and the man who's murdered. Is that why you killed this man?
Czy to dlatego pan zabił tą osobę? Tego mężczyznę? I didn't kill him.
He's just saying it hasn't happened, the nephew law.
And he's just kept stum about everybody, and he's not known that they've turned on him.
Right.
And they've breached the code.
So he's a little bit pissed off, to say the least.
Despite Sobish's denials, detectives are confident about the case against him. A witness has made a statement saying that Sobish spoke to him after the stabbing.
Tony, do you want to give us the headlines?
He says that he sits next to him and he says, I've killed a man, or I think I've killed a man. He'll say that when he arrived, he's had blood staining on his clothing. And he also says that during the conversation, he said that he fucked him up with a knife. And he says the knife went in like butter.
Well, the significant thing for me is that line. I've fucked him up with a knife, which is quite damning, I think. Yeah.
We'll go to CPS. I don't think there's any reason to sort of hang around now.
In order to charge Sobish, the police must get authorisation from the Crown Prosecution Service.
Okay, no worries.
Within hours, the available evidence has been reviewed and a decision made.
Okay, thanks, Julie. Cheers. Bye now. Right, they've authorised charge of murder.
Good work, mate.
Brilliant. Right, I'll put the charges in then.
Right, could you do with trying to get the family notified?
Right, okay.
Right, I'll get the charges put in.
Okay.
We're absolutely overjoyed to have located this individual. The real value, when I think we sit back as police officers and think, okay, why do we feel good about this? It's because we feel that we've delivered something to the victim to ensure that he actually receives some justice.
Right, Daniel. Okay, the charge is a charge of murder, and that is on the 23rd of December 2015 at Blackpool, murdered Marcin Pavlov, which is contrary to common law.
I kind of looked at him and we had him kind of like built up on a pedestal, you know, a bit of a bodybuilder type and a real kind of like danger and threat to the public. And yeah, that's definitely was the case. But in custody, it looked like he was a defeated man. It was almost as if, you know, it was just kind of like game over for him.
Daniel Sobish was convicted of the manslaughter of Marcin Pavlov and given a prison sentence of 13 years. In Blackburn, Scott Lazenby has been brought into the police station to be charged with sexual assault.
Myself and my team have done an extensive, thorough investigation. I suppose on the day it's going to come down to those 12 jury members, but I'm confident in my ability, my team's ability, that we've put forward a strong case.
After a 4-day trial, Lazenby was convicted of the rape and sexual assault of 2 women. He was jailed for 7 years and prohibited from using dating websites for 13 years.
As soon as she said to me he's been found guilty, I could breathe. I just felt I could breathe, and I just felt so relieved that it were done. It were all over.